My dear child, you have been asking quietly, haven't you, dear heart? Not always out loud. Sometimes just in that tired way your mind circles the same question while washing dishes, driving home, staring at the ceiling long after the room has gone dark. Should I keep going? Am I forcing something that is no longer right? Am I afraid for no reason, or is this unease trying to tell me something? You have wanted clarity, but you have also feared it, because if the answer becomes clear, something may have to change. Beloved, that tension in you has been real. One part of you longing for direction, another part trying to delay it until it feels safer, simpler, less costly. You have gone back and forth so many times that even your own thoughts have started to feel worn down. You keep reviewing conversations, replaying details, looking for reassurance in small things, then doubting yourself again. Precious one, this exhaustion did not come only from the decision itself. It came from carrying uncertainty without a place to set it down. It came from trying to read every shift, every silence, as if one perfect clue might spare you from having to be honest about what you already feel. My dear one, listen carefully. What you asked for was not really a dramatic interruption. It was permission. Permission to stop arguing with the truth that has been quietly standing inside you. You thought you needed something louder, something undeniable, something that would relieve you of responsibility for what comes next. But often, the clearest answer is not a thunderclap. It is the same gentle knowing returning after every distraction has faded. Loved one, that returning matters, because fear can be loud, urgency can be loud, other people's expectations can be loud. Your own hope for an easier outcome can be loud. But what is true often remains steady without trying to overpower you. That steadiness is one way I guide the heart. Not by terror, not by confusion, not by forcing you into panic. By bringing you back again and again to what is simple, clean, and honest. Sweet soul, you have mistaken peace for the absence of difficulty. You thought if it were truly right, it would feel effortless. If it were truly wise, no one would be hurt. If it were truly time, you would feel no grief, no fear, no trembling at all. But that is not how clarity often arrives. Sometimes clarity comes with sadness. Sometimes it comes with a shaking voice. Sometimes it comes while you are still wishing the answer were different. That does not make it less real. Beloved family, every message you hear is created with the hope that it reaches someone at the right moment. If you feel led to be part of this mission, the support link is in the description and comment box. Together, we are spreading something meaningful. My child, the answer you have wanted has already been pressing gently against your inner life. You have felt it in the way your body tightens when you imagine ignoring it. You have felt it in the heaviness that follows when you force yourself to keep pretending you do not know. You have felt it in the strange relief that comes when you tell yourself the truth, even if only for a moment. Dear heart, that relief is not nothing. It is not weakness. It is not you giving up too soon. It is often the soul recognizing alignment. There is a difference between fear of change and warning against danger. There is a difference between grief over what must shift and confusion about what is right. You have blended these together because your heart has been trying so hard not to make a mistake. Beloved, your caution is understandable. You care deeply. You do not want to be careless with people. You do not want to misread things. You do not want to choose from hurt and call it wisdom. These are good desires, but there comes a point when caution stops being careful and starts becoming avoidance. And avoidance always charges interest. It drains your energy. It clouds your discernment. It makes each day carry more strain than it should. Precious one, I am not saying this to pressure you. I am saying it to ease the burden. You do not need 100 more confirmations before honoring what has already become clear. You asked for direction, and here, in this moment, You are being given the courage to stop treating your own knowing like an enemy. My dear one, this is not about punishment. It is about mercy. There are times when the kindest thing I can do is stop allowing you to stay comfortable, undecided, when indecision itself is becoming the wound. You have been hoping that waiting longer would make the ache disappear. Instead, it has made the strain more familiar. You have adjusted to it, worked around it, explained it away. But familiar pain is still pain, and just because you learned to function inside it does not mean you were meant to stay there. Loved one, the direction you asked for is not meant to shame you for taking time. You took time because this mattered, because your heart wanted to be sure, because you were trying to be fair, wise and gentle. That is not failure, that is care. But now, care must include you too. Now wisdom must make room for your inner truth. Now gentleness must stop meaning that you disappear to keep everything else steady. Sweet soul, there is a crossroads in front of you, not one marked by flashing lights, a quieter one. The place where what you know inwardly must begin to shape what you do outwardly. That crossing can feel lonely at first, not because you are abandoned, because honesty often feels exposed before it feels peaceful. But the peace does come, slowly, cleanly, as divided parts of you stop pulling in opposite directions. My child, let me say this plainly. You are allowed to stop forcing yourself to stay in what is draining you. You are allowed to acknowledge when something no longer fits. You are allowed to tell the truth about what your soul has been carrying. You are allowed to need a life that is not built around quiet self-betrayal. That permission is part of the answer. Dear heart, there is no glory in endlessly doubting what has already shown itself through consistent unease, repeated clarity, and the cost to your peace. I know you wanted certainty without sorrow. I know you wanted the path to open without anyone misunderstanding. I know you wanted the next step to feel pure and simple. I know. But real life is often more tender than that. What is right can still be painful. What is honest can still involve loss. What brings peace can still ask courage of you. Beloved, do not call something wrong simply because it is hard, and do not call something right simply because it delays discomfort. You have done enough of that internal bargaining. Enough rearranging your truth to keep fear from flaring. Enough waiting for some external permission to tell you what your spirit has been whispering all along. Precious one, this moment is your permission, not to act rashly, not to speak harshly, not to run ahead in panic, but to stop dismissing the clarity you already carry, to stop pretending you are blank when you are actually burdened, to stop asking for direction as a way of postponing courage. My dear one, there is tenderness even in this firmness, because I know how long you have wrestled. I know how many times you hoped your feelings would settle into something easier. I know the way your chest tightens when you imagine the conversation, the boundary, the change, the ending, or the honest admission. I know the fatigue of holding tension for too many days. I know the sadness of realizing that some things cannot stay the same. Loved one, none of that disqualifies the truth. It only reveals that you are human inside it, and I would rather meet you in honest sorrow than watch you bury yourself under prolonged confusion. Sweet soul, this is the sign, because it meets the exact place where you have been stuck, not by dazzling you, by clarifying you, not by removing all feeling, by separating fear from wisdom, guilt from compassion, and grief from error. Those distinctions matter. Without them, everything inside you starts sounding the same, but they are not the same. Fear says, stay where you are so nothing has to change. Wisdom says you cannot heal by living against what you know. Guilt says your peace costs too much to deserve. Compassion says care for others but do not disappear. Grief says this matters, and I wish it were easier. Error says you should never have felt this in the first place. These are not identical voices, and you are beginning to hear the difference. My child, that hearing is part of the answer. You are not as lost as you feared. You are not incapable of discernment. You are not cut off from guidance. What has made this feel impossible is not the absence of clarity, but the emotional cost of admitting it. That cost is real, but it is not greater than the cost of remaining split inside. Dear heart, there is relief ahead when your inner life no longer has to live in argument with itself. Even if the next step is small, even if it is quiet, even if no one else fully understands it at first, relief begins when honesty is welcomed, when truth is named, when the burden of pretending not to know is finally set down. Beloved, you do not have to rush after hearing this. There is no violence in wisdom, no frantic energy, no demand to become fearless overnight. You may move with tenderness. You may take one clean step instead of 10 imagined ones. You may speak with care. You may remain soft while being clear. That is possible. Precious one, if your mind tries to pull you back into endless loops, be gentle with it. It has been trying to protect you in the only way it knew. But protection is not always guidance. Sometimes what once helped becomes what now delays. That is not something to shame. It is something to outgrow carefully. My dear one, there is a quiet strength already forming in you. You can feel it under the fear. It is not dramatic. It does not shout. It simply says, I cannot keep abandoning what I know to be true. Stay close to that voice, not because it flatters you, because it steadies you. Loved one, the clarity you asked for was never meant to crush you. It was meant to free you from the exhausting cycle of asking the same question after the heart has already answered. Freedom can begin softly, a fuller exhale, a calmer thought, a less divided body, a sentence spoken honestly, a choice that matches your deeper knowing. These are sacred beginnings, even when they look ordinary. Sweet soul, I am with you at the edge of what comes next. Not only in the answer, but in the trembling after it, in the conversation you may need to have, in the grief that may rise, in the tenderness required to walk a new way, in the rebuilding of peace where strain once lived. You do not step there without companionship. My child, take this not as pressure, but as release. You ask to know, and now in this quiet way you do. Not every detail, not every outcome, but enough. Enough to stop pretending you have no direction. Enough to honor what keeps returning. Enough to choose what aligns with what is honest and clean. Enough for today. So let the noise settle around that. Let the old debates grow a little quieter. Let your heart rest from having to bargain with what it already senses. And when night comes and your thoughts begin their old circling again, remember this moment. Remember the calm beneath the fear. Remember the relief that came when truth was named. Remember that clarity did not arrive to wound you, but to steady you. I remain near, gentle and sure, like still water holding the first light of morning, until what you know becomes the peace you are finally able to keep. Amen. Beloved family, your support is more than help. It is faith in action. Because of you, these messages continue to reach hearts. May the Lord bless you, guide you, and stand with you in every season.